The address in Policy Exchange's report and on the receipt is 202 North Gower Street, London. I decided to pay a visit. It turns out that this address is the London headquarters of a separate Islamic group, the UK Islamic Mission. What I want to ask you is whether you recognise this document. It's a receipt that says Euston Mosque, but it says your address, 202 North Gower Street, London NW1. Is that your document?
No, this is not my documents, and this is not our UK Islamic Mission documents, because we have special format on our receipt, so we don't have that type of documents.
You don't have this kind of receipt?
No, we haven't.
To explain the discrepancies, Policy Exchange argues that either the mosque and the UK Islamic Mission building are in fact affiliated, or that there is a prayer room in 202 North Gower Street, which users refer to as Euston Mosque. Both scenarios are denied by the people we've interviewed. Once again, to get to the bottom of all this, we asked whether we could speak directly and independently to the researchers who carried out the work at Euston Mosque. But Policy Exchange said this would not be possible because the researchers are away on a religious retreat for 40 days in Mauritania. This is the Tawhid Mosque in Leighton, East London. It's a Salafi mosque and as such might be expected to promote the teachings of Saudi clerics. One book the researchers say they bought here states, there is absolutely no brotherhood between the believer and the disbeliever. But again, there are inconsistencies. The report wrongly gives the address of the mosque as 78 Leighton High Road, which is actually the address of this bookshop next door.
You just have to ask the bookshop or ask anybody at the mosque that it has absolutely nothing to do with that. It's totally misleading and inaccurate information. In fact, we're considering legal action over it because this has the potential to damage the good name and reputation of our mosque.
Researchers provided 2 receipts for the books. The first is from a standard numbered receipt book, and we've seen the carbon copy, so we know it's genuine. It's handwritten in the name of Tawhid Islamic Centre, and it gives the bookshop's address. But we're told that researchers were sent back to get a duplicate receipt on headed paper. This second receipt, which is printed on an inkjet printer, was in the name of Tawhid Mosque and Islamic Centre. The word mosque has been introduced. We also noticed that the handwriting on this receipt is very similar to the handwriting on another receipt, which researchers say they obtained from the Muslim Cultural Heritage Centre 10 miles away. Policy Exchange insisted that the 2 receipts were written by different people, so we showed the handwriting to Kate Barr, the forensic document examiner.
The significant similarities, one of the nice ones was the T, that's a good example. It's done with the vertical stroke first, coming up and doing the horizontal stroke second. Other nice features were the G, which has a very long downstroke, especially in the one in charge. Other features of significance, it's mainly block capital writing, but the I's have got dots on them. In my opinion, I think there's strong evidence that they were written by the same person, and I consider it unlikely that they were written by more than one person.
If 2 receipts from 2 different mosques were written by the same person, it's highly likely that some kind of deception or forgery has taken place. Policy Exchange categorically told us that they're satisfied the researchers did not fill in their own receipts and that they are genuine documents. Again, we asked to speak directly to the researchers. We received this 9-page legal letter, and in relation to the Leighton Mosque, the letter states that the researcher was taken personally by a worshipper to the neighbouring bookshop and sold books on the basis that they were sanctioned by the mosque. The letter goes on to say that if we were to broadcast our film, we would be sued, and it states Policy Exchange would pursue such litigation relentlessly to trial or capitulation by the corporation. We decided to run further forensic tests and uncovered a piece of extraordinary evidence from the receipts from 2 other mosques named and shamed in the Policy Exchange report. This evidence concerns the Al-Muntada Mosque in West London and the Muslim Education Centre in High Wycombe. This is the ESDA test. If you write on a document, the impressions from the pen strokes can be revealed on pages below using this technique. An electrical charge is induced and the impressions caused by the writing on sheets above will appear as black lines.
So what I'm doing is overlaying the ESDA impression on the writing, we think it may have caused those impressions. So, if as I reveal the match between the writing and the
As
impression.
you're pulling this sort of paper away, you can see the exact match.
You can see that, yes, that the writing and the impressions are an exact match, one to the other.
How confident are you about that?
Every time you write in a slightly different manner. So the fact that you can match up exactly the writing with the impressions means that these impressions must have been caused by this writing.
You're 100%?
I am, yes.
And what does that actually mean in terms of these receipts? Because the other receipt is this one here from Mentala in Parsons Green.
What it means is that the Muslim Education Centre invoice was resting, probably at a slight angle, on top of the Al-Muntanda Mosque receipt when it was written.
So in other words, this receipt from the Muslim Education Centre in High Wycombe was written in the same location as this pink one?
Yes, it does. The two were resting one on top of the other when the one from High Wycombe was written.
We took the receipt to the Muslim Education Centre in High Wycombe. We did find one of the 7 titles listed on the receipt on the shelves, but the document provided by the researchers is completely different to the official receipt book, and the management say it's a fake.
Well, someone in their wisdom has even got the address wrong. We normally put the address different as well as for the parade Totteridge Drive. When the story broke out, it was frontline news, it was front page news in the local paper, it hit the headlines. And the elderly gentlemen that pray here became very stressed. Everybody felt bunkered in. Oh my God, here we are under the spotlight. And to discover now that the people that are doing it are actually involved in forgery is quite despicable. Well, they forged the receipt, so I would now even question whether they even came here, because we would query that.
Well, books on the shelf.
But they could be bought anywhere, not necessarily here. These are open circulation books.
All these disputes have left some of those named and shamed in the report angry.
Somebody is trying to giving a bad name or bad name of the mosque. That's all it is. That's what I think, because this is certainly not any of our receipts or anything.
We have no problem with the thesis of the report, and that's, you know, books are promoting undermining community cohesion should be exposed. There's no problem with that. But, you know, to go from that and try to implicate, you know, community centers who are trying very hard and actually leading the way to, you know, to promote community cohesion that way, it's very demoralizing.
We have never promoted these books at all. In fact, if you come to our circles or you listen to our sermons, we are very much involved in precisely interpreting the Quran and understanding it in a modern British context.
The Policy Exchange report states that extremist literature was found in 25 out of the 100 mosques researchers visited. Our research into 5 of these locations has revealed serious doubts about the way this work was carried out in the name of policy exchange, and 3 receipts even suggest evidence of forgery. Given the influential status of this think tank and its report, surely this must be cause for concern.